Hello and welcome to Ditch Witch Diaries. We are going through the cleansing series, and the next cleansing part of this series is to kind of a practical part. And so we are going to let Raeven take it away.
Okay. I'm going to talk about, so first, I don't think that we've done this, but I just wanted to give you a quick list of some things that we have agreed are cleansing herbs. So I took this from like our herbs by magical property thing. So these are just some. It's not all of them, and as we've said multiple times, it's just kind of what you're drawn to. There isn't really necessarily a wrong way. If you feel that there's a reason to use an herb for a specific property, then by all means. But these are some good ones. Ones that I use a lot are Palo Santo and Copal we've talked about. I use eucalyptus a lot, frankincense. I didn't separate those two, but that's okay. I use pine a lot, salt, sweetgrass. So these are just some lists to give you some ideas. Now, I'm not going to go through my thing that we're going to talk about today. Like, we're not going to physically do it together, but I'm going to talk about a couple of things, two things. One, I just wanted to really briefly mention loose incense for cleansing. Um, and so we kind of talked about this with Rebekah's Copal, but you can use whatever calls to you when you're making a loose incense, like combination. But I like to usually do at least one herb and one resin. I don't know what that other thing is. One herb slash plant. So even like something like pine potentially. So an herb and a resin. I like to do at least one of each when I'm making a cleansing one. But I could do like, for example, shreds of Palo Santo, some dragon's blood, and some lemon balm would be like a good cleansing combination. Just remember if you're burning it indoors, resin can produce quite a bit of smoke, more so than just like your dried herbs usually. So just keeping that in mind. I like to crack a window just so my smoke alarm doesn't go off.
Exactly.
So that's loose sentences, but what I want to talk about mostly is cleansing sprays. Now, I am obsessed with cleansing sprays. I make them all of the time. I am never without one. And so, what I like to do is a base, and usually I use rainwater for my base as long as it's rainy almost all the time where I live. So I collect it all the time. But I mean, you can always just use regular water, distilled water, whatever. But I like to use rainwater. I
Could you use moon water?
Yeah, moon water for sure.
Could you make moon water out of rainwater?
I have made moon water out of rainwater, yeah. And I mean, our viewers probably have picked up on this, but I like water. Water I'm very drawn to. And so I very much associate different types of water with different magical properties. So, like the water taken from a waterfall has very different magical properties than rainwater, for example. And so, rainwater for me is very cleansing. Like, I love rainwater for cleansing. That is my favorite type of water to use. So, I like to use rainwater. Rainwater, then use it as moon water, even more potent. But I use some type of water for my base and then an essential oil of your choice. Currently, this is my current room spray, and it is tea tree, sandalwood, and lavender.
Mm.
And then also you want to put a splash of preservative in there, so alcohol, witch hazel, something like that. And I also like to do a pinch of salt if I'm specifically using it for cleansing. Any type of salt. I put in here cypress salt, which looks like a pyramid kind of.
Ooh.
So
Yes,
it's
yes,
very
I know.
like,
Yes.
yeah, so it's very pointed. So that's my room spray. I'll go through one this size in like, I don't know, a couple of weeks probably because I spray everywhere.
I love it.
And then I spray everywhere in the room. I spray my room probably pretty close to every day. So I spray the doorways, I spray the windows, I spray my bed, I spray just kind of everywhere. It makes the room smell nice, but also it's like a good cleansing thing.
That's rad.
Now, I do want to spend some time on Florida water. So, Florida water, first created in 1808 by Robert Murray and David Lawnman in New York. It was originally marketed as a unisex cologne, and it was lighter and fresher than a lot of the heavier European perfumes that were popular at the time. And so the Florida water scent notes are like citrus, spice, and floral. So then that had the use of floral water, kind of Florida water shifted from like cologne into a bit more of spiritual practices. Especially things like folk magic, hoodoo, any type of rootwork, Santería, voodoo, things like that. And there's a lot of different reasons people have given for why these practices specifically were using Florida water. But essentially, it comes down to people saying that it feels cooling, especially because of the herbs that are put in there and just like the citrus. So it like vibrationally, not like tactilely, but vibrationally, it feels like cooling and cleansing and refreshing. And so a lot of these practices started using it as a replacement for or in tandem with things like holy water or any type of ritual water. So Florida water is used for cleansing, personal purification, so like purifying yourself, offering protection, mediumship, and trance work.
Awesome.
Now, in the US, in the South, it became really woven into hoodoo and rootwork traditions. Like I said, a lot of other practices used it, but we saw this big spike in things like hoodoo and rootwork.
It's
So
interesting though that it started out like it was created in New York.
I know,
I'm
isn't
kind
that
of
so
like
strange?
amused by that a little bit actually.
Yeah,
And who are
yeah.
those people? Like, I want to know more. Like, it's like me knowing more about Pamela Coleman Smith.
Right, yeah.
She was, if you don't know who she created the images that are on all on the Rider-Waite Tarot. She painted all the images, and the
Mm.
ones like that are that was the first deck that had minor arcana images. So she was the one that did it, and I had to know everything about her. Like, I want to know about these men who created this Florida water. Like, what's
Yeah,
their story?
I know.
I gotta
And
go look
it
them
seems
up.
I haven't gone too far down the rabbit hole, but it seems like they were just perfumists, like they just worked at
Perfumers.
a
Well,
perfume
those
place.
are like like literally like perfumers. I think are like magic workers in a
Yeah,
different way. Like
yeah,
especially the ones that use like not like just scent perfumes, but like real perfumes, like
yeah.
real
It's glamour magic.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. Lovely.
It's glamour
It's
for sure.
amazing and for different things too. Like it
Yeah.
draws out different like
Mhm.
like it gives people different impressions and like it's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
so into that and so are you. I know you're super
I'm so into it. Yeah. I
into
have different perfumes for whatever like I want to bring out. Like if I want to be like if I want to feel more like sensual when I have a perfume for that. If I want to feel more like to my punk rock ties, I have a perfume for that. I wear perfume oils like every day at home. Like I'm just so into it. Yeah.
I have one that I wear a lot. So and it
Mhm.
is from like a famous house in France.
Mm.
And I wear that all the time. But I also have this box of perfumes that probably I probably wear that one perfume I like about twice or three times a week. And then I have a box of perfumes and I literally go in there in the morning and like select one from there.
Mm.
And just
Nice.
like been like, yeah, so I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love perfumes and like anything that's scented. Like it doesn't even necessarily have to be a perfume, but like anything that's scented, I feel like is just it calls to me. Um,
Back to the
yes, back to the Florida water. So, it's still really popular in use and it's even used for cleansings or limpias in like cleansing practices in like Mexico and Puerto Rico and all different kinds of places. So then why the name Florida? This seems to like throw a lot of people off. So the name Florida, we are not totally sure why, but it's believed that it came from the myth of the Fountain of Youth, which is associated with Ponce de Leon and Florida. And so it's like this idea of, oh, well, this smell, this florally, citrusy, spicy smell is going to like make you feel young and like vibrant and fresh. So it's associated with the fountain of youth and like vitality and things like that. Now, some people have also suggested that potentially it's Florida coming from like floral. So some historians suggest the name is a play on the Spanish word florida, meaning flowery or blooming. Especially because of the like flowery and citrusy scent. And so we don't really know. There seems to be more backing of the Fountain of Youth, but we don't really know. And then if we look at actual like ads for Florida water from the 1800s, this is what we see. And so we see things like floweries, we see youth, we see the fae, we see the what is the name for like the Cupid? What do they call those?
What do you mean?
It's like the babies with
Arrows?
wings.
Um,
I can't
Arrows
remember
or
the name.
Cupid. I think that's what they're called, aren't
Yeah,
they?
but Cupid is like a specific one of these things.
Well, let's see. What do you call a baby with wings? Let's
Yeah,
ask.
I forgot.
What do you call a baby with wings? A baby with is a puto, or less a cherub.
Cherub. That's what it is.
It's most commonly referred to as a putto. I've never even
Huh,
heard of that.
me neither.
Cherub, but they're cherubs.
Cherubs, yeah. So lots of like cherubs. Cupid is a cherub. So
Yeah.
lots of cherubs, lots of floweries, lots of like youth looking things like fae. And so this is, again, we see this associated with like the fountain of youth and youthfulness and things like that. So then there's also, if you've ever had conversations within witchy people or the spiritual practitioners, you who use Florida water, oftentimes you will hear it come up that there's a difference between the Florida water with an English label and the Florida water with a Spanish label. And I have met people who are like die hard, like will die on this hill that there's a difference. Now, Marie,
I love
yeah.
dying on hills.
Oh
I
man,
have
I've
hills.
met probably three separate people who are like, there's a difference. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. But Marie and Landman says that that the formula is the same. It doesn't matter if you're getting it from the same company because the same company will have English
Okay.
labels and Spanish labels.
So
And they
it's
say
not
it's the
like
exact
Coke.
same.
It's not like
No,
Coca-Cola,
no, where it's
Mexican Coke,
different.
and yeah, okay.
Right. It's the same. It's the same formula. They just changed the label. And the reason, so it's just distribution differences. So in here in the US, English labels are more common. In Latin America and like other places, the Spanish labels are more common. And so it's just a different label according to them. Now, some people say that the Spanish label feels stronger or more authentic, and some people say, well, sure, maybe that's just a cultural association, right? Since Florida water is like really deeply woven into these like Hispanic cultures and Afro-Caribbean cultures, Latin America cultures and traditions, that it's because there's more of a use with it that when you're using the bottle that is intended for those regions, that it's going to feel stronger energetically. I could see that. I could see that. So to each their own, I have to say to that.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you about my organ water. So, again, I make a lot of room sprays. I make my own Florida water. I don't feel good calling it Florida water because it's not like I'm creating my own version. I want to give credit to the Florida water. However, I don't want to say that what I'm making is Florida water because it's not. I feel like that would be taking away from the people who
And it's kind
create
of like a
actual.
certain recipe, isn't it? It's kind of like patent
Yeah.
pending. It's kind of like, or whatever, patented or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like the
Yeah.
Florida, that's like Landon, whatever is Murphy and
Yeah.
Landon's recipe. So,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that, it's
So
like
so I
me
call
saying that
mine
I'm making like Chanel number 5 or
right.
something. Like
Yeah.
that's
Like
not
ripping it
Chanel
off.
number 5.
No.
You're making your own perfume.
Yeah. So I create my own. Now I'm not going to give you my full recipe because again, I very much believe that part of the magic is putting in what feels right to you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you my exact recipe. I want you to
Yeah.
add what feels right to you. But the herbs that I use are lemon peel and orange peels, cloves, rose, lavender, cinnamon, rosemary. Those are the basics. I add a couple other things, but in most Florida water recipes, you'll find those things. Now, I usually cover it with alcohol plus a couple inches. I use the simpler method. And so you just cover it up. Now, again, as we mentioned with Rebekah's, you it absorbs a lot of, we're essentially making a tincture. Okay, that's what this is. We're making a tincture, but the herbs will absorb a lot of the alcohol, the base that you're going to put in there. And so you want to put a little bit more. I usually do like honestly probably about three 3 to 4 inches of alcohol above the line of the herbs because even immediately after you shake it, you'll see that that is going to come down and then plus you're
Yeah.
going to leave it.
And
So a
even more
couple,
so than with the with oil. So
yeah,
oil doesn't absorb nearly as much.
yeah,
Alcohol, I'm doomed. I always
yeah,
I can't put that much in there because
yeah.
I will if I'm making a tincture, I'm doomed. I have to just tell myself, don't put so much.
Not so many.
Not so many.
Yeah. Also, another thing I want to mention, we haven't yet talked too much about tinctures, but usually you would do separate tinctures for the separate herbs and then combine them after. But because I'm using this specifically for like magical uses, I'm not using it for consumption, then I just do it all together. So cover it with alcohol, plus I do about 4 inches. And then you want to put it somewhere. I typically put it on my altar or I'll put it in my herb closet. You want it to stay out of the sun, ideally out of direct sunlight. And then shake it daily for 3 cycles, so 3 months essentially. And you want to shake it daily. I also like to, I like blow on it to infuse it. So like when I'm shaking it, then I just kind of blow on it and hold it, and I give it some love, and then I just put it back. Now, after 3 months, you're going to strain it. After you strain it, you add whatever else you want. So I like to add oak moss because we know I love my oak moss, which also ties it into Oregon. So I add oak moss essential oil and I also add orange blossom water. You can add whatever you want, but I love orange blossom water. It smells very good and it feels very cleansing. It smells so good. Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much what I do now. Let me just do something real quick. Okay, so I just wanted to show you quickly. So I make, because again, I am obsessed with room sprays and I use them all the time. With my Oregon water, I also use it quite a bit. So after I cleanse my room, I usually will go through with my organ water and do the same thing. So I talked about like my room spray that I use for the doors and the windows and stuff. And then I usually go through with my organ water after and I do the same thing. Bed, windows, doorways, and then I also do it on myself. And I do that almost every day. And so I go through it quite a bit. I also spray my car. I spray everything. Everything is drenched in Oregon water. So I go through a lot. So I just strained this last batch probably a couple of months ago, and I have like one of the big like mason jars that I make it in. And this is all that's left. So I go through it a lot. And so I make it twice a year. Um, if I want to make a very potent batch, if I've just been feeling kind of off and like yucky lately, or like if I've been feeling disconnected from my practice, then instead of 3 months, I'll let it sit for like 6 months, still shaking it every day, do the same process. But yeah, I make it like usually every 6 months or so.
That's a great
Um,
idea.
yeah, and then I
And
also
make it like make it your own. Make it like where you're
yeah,
from. Like
yes.
I was just thinking like I need like I'm gonna be so rude. I need like sweat from a bear's balls. Like the
Oh
bear, like
God.
don't put the
Yeah.
bear water.
Oh man. I know I put like because I want to feel very tied to this land that I'm living on. And so I
Yeah.
put a lot of stuff that's native to here. I
Uh-huh.
put it in there and I just, you should make it your own. I tell everybody that part of like magic is very much about sacrifice, right? It always has been. If you're looking up the pagan roots from like, I don't know, like 500 BCE, it's always about sacrifice. And to me, feeling the herbs and looking into the herbs and looking at like what was native to my land and going out and like picking them and drying them yourself essentially or like anything is part of the sacrifice because you're sacrificing your time and your energy. And so that's going to make it more potent. We're not out here like sacrificing animals and stuff, right? But I'm sacrificing my time, I'm sacrificing my energy, I'm sacrificing all of these things, the research that I do to make this like magical and potent. And so add whatever feels right to you. Sit with
I
it,
must
go.
say that I would love like even a pin like a strand of bear hair would be like I
That'd be
can't even tell
rad.
you. I would like cut it up in like little bits and add like
Yeah.
one piece to it.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like
like coyote. Coyote
oh
hair would
yeah,
be
that's a
good
good
for
one too.
California
I
for
know.
sure.
I'm just into like
Yeah.
California don't poke the bear, so sorry for my
Oh yeah. Yeah, so that's it. I think that was it for my
I
presentation.
love that. I love that. I know. I'm like going
Yeah.
through my head like what I would put in mind for like the California. I know because I want to. That's such a good idea. So wherever you're from, whether it's in America or whether I mean we're pretty like statey in America. Like so
Yeah.
we're not really like it's like Florida water or like Oregon. Like we're not really like America. Like maybe
Yeah.
some people are, but
We are like definitely individual states. I feel like.
yeah.
I mean,
And
we're
I
like
and you
one
know what?
country.
I feel way pride about it.
Mm,
Like some people are all cunty. Sorry to use that word if you don't like it. Sorry, but some people are about California, but I have like mad California pride.
yeah. I
I
mean, born and raised in California, and I appreciate California because that was my home for most of my life, for probably, I don't know what, like a third to a half of my life was in California. And so I'll always respect California, but I definitely feel pride for Oregon. Like I feel like
bet you
I
do.
am where I need to be.
Can super appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I super appreciate that. I would too.
Yeah.
Oregon's a rad place. It's
So
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah. I love it out here. I don't know how people can like not like it. I don't ever want to leave. I've been here for like 3 years now and I don't ever want to leave.
I love
But
that. But it's hilarious that I'm still like tripped up on the fact that somebody from New York made floral.
I know.
Two men from New York.
Yeah, two men nonetheless.
I know. They're
Uh, Man.
well, that's great. Well, I love that. And I love it. And I hope everybody goes out and makes their own like water, like cleansing water. That's
Cleansing water, yeah, for
great.
sure.
That's great. That's super fun and super
Yeah.
awesome. And yeah. Is that it then for you?
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next Ditch Witch Diaries.